Example 2 is more of the same. It's just reminding you of all your factoring strategies. So the number one thing that I sometimes don't do as a math teacher is I don't tell you all the math that goes on inside of my head before I solve stuff. And most typically in a question like this, the small mistake that students make is that they go right away to these brackets to make it equal to 0 to factor, which is okay, but you're going to make your life harder. Anytime, before you get into any kind of more complicated factoring method, you should always check, is there something in common in all three terms? Because if there's a common factor, and in this case, there is a 3, you're going to make your life easy. Because taking out a 3 gives me an x squared, a 10x, and a 25. And now to factor the inside is smaller numbers, because my first one is now just an x squared, and my last one is just a 25. Now my life is a little bit easier. And that's what I'm trying to do as your math teacher, is make math easier for you, right? I'm trying to explain things so that you can learn it in the easiest way. That's not always an easy task, because math is sometimes very hard, okay? So now I've factored out that 3. The x squared, that's easy. It has to be x and x. The 25, to make 10, I'm going to think about my outside and my inside. Can you see 5 and 5 would work? And so to get a plus 10, they don't both have to be plus. I do a quick multiplication. Sure enough, it works. Now technically, we have multiplication here, and we have multiplication here. So we have 3 things multiplied to equal 0. Now I'm going to write it out, the step that I said you can eventually start to skip, because something interesting here. Okay, I can draw a line here at this multiplication, maybe. Multiplication there, multiplication there. So I can say either, okay, this is what we've done all along. But in the first one, I'm going to write, can 3 ever equal 0? No. But it could, sometimes you could get 3 answers. Can you see if this was an x out front? Then x could equal 0 would be another answer, but it's just a 3. So either 3 equals 0, no, that's not true. This one, or x plus 5 equals 0, or x plus 5 equals 0. Can you see that the solution for this one would be x equals -5? And a little bit redundant, x equals -5 again. Technically, this one has only one solution, but that solution happens twice. That comes up in grade 12 pre-calculus. They would say x equals 5 is a solution of multiplicity 2, because it happened twice in this equation, and that makes a difference for its graph and what happens on its graph. But we'll see that next year in grade 12. But we just had 3 multiplications, and it just happened that only one answer is possible, because 2 of them have the same answer, and the other multiplication, well, 3 can never equal 0. But you will see some questions where you get 3 answers. Right? If you had 3 factors that all had x's, you could get 3 answers. If we look at part B now, we have 5x squared equals -20x. Again, I notice it's a quadratic equation. Since it's a quadratic equation, I want to solve this by factoring, but in order to factor, I need one side to equal 0. So I'm going to add 20x to both sides to make it equal to 0. And then I have to look at this. How do I factor this? First thing I always look, is there something in common in both of them? Yes. I can take out, for numbers, a 5, and for variables, I can take out a 5x. That would leave me with x there, distributed, plus 4 there. After you take out the common factor, you look, like last time we could factor further, but this time, can you see that there's nothing more to factor? Our multiplication is right here. So when we split this up, this means that either 5x is equal to 0, or x plus 4 is equal to 0. Can 5x ever equal 0? What would x have to be? 0. Can x plus 4 ever equal 0? Yes. What would x have to be? Negative 4. So this one has two solutions. I get 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, and 18, and I put a star beside 18. That usually means when I put a star beside a question that you're going to have to think about that one a little bit. Ooh. Yeah. 18 is, right? 18 is a next level of question. That means I won't probably ask one that hard on a quiz or a test. But if you challenge yourself to do it and figure out a way to do it, that means you're probably working at a level where you can do the ones that we're going to do on a quiz or test fairly easily.